Let's welcome our guest to the COB, Peter Maguire from trading.com, who joins me now. Pete, great to see you. I wanted to get your thoughts on the slide that we saw in the Aussie when that unemployment rate ticked up.
Absolutely, Juliet, and good afternoon. Happy Thursday. Here we are. It came off a little bit of hot steam. It's down around about, 0.5%. And I think that really just shook the market a little bit. And as it says there, it just dived from that nearly 65.14, 65.13 sort of number. But it's bounced back and you're sitting now, as it says there, 64.92. So it's certainly been a choppy day over the last couple of hours.
It certainly has. More broadly, though, and I mentioned this, that the rise in gold. I mean, how are you sort of seeing this momentum? Because I spoke to Citi earlier in the week and their main analyst saying, look, she just doesn't see how you can call a ceiling at this point. But as I mentioned, Roger Montgomery from Montgomery Invest saying we're paying too much for gold at these levels.
Yeah, I know, Roger. I haven't seen him for a few years. I hope he's well. I think it's got a long way to go yet, and I think that you probably can't put a ceiling to it. The overall momentum has just been awesome when you're thinking about where we are with platinum and palladium and, of course, with silver. So the gold market, I think 4,500 to 5,000 has got to be on everyone's radar. And 4,500, the way it's going at the moment, it might be there by month's end, Juliet, as far as US dollar. And you've got that 42, 45 on the deck futures. So if we to see something wash out from it, I'm not saying it won't happen, but, at the moment we're extremely bullish, and I'm on the other side because I travel a fair bit and see the world. As far as retail participation, you've only got to see what's happening as far as Middle East and, of course, across Asia and the likes of India and Europe. So, they'll be lining up out of ABC bullion, all right, because I think once you get the big part of the market engaged, there's a lot more appetite now.
Yeah, and is that, and that is another point that Roger did make. Is that sort of the FOMO trade driving it as well? If you see a queue, you join a queue?
I saw Costco, and that was really very much a part of the retail sector in the States. They were buying, and this has been for the last 6 to 12 months. So I think the world's ahead of Australia. And I feel as though that fear of missing out, to some extent, but there's a large appetite and people are saying, what is going on with the fiat currencies? Where are we? We've got a very, very strong global stock market and there's something not quite right. So this is where I think people are looking at alternatives and they're seeing gold, and that's the storyline, and you can't argue against it because the appetite has just been awesome.
And speaking of the strong stock market, I mentioned today at one point we were at a record intraday high. We've got global markets at or near highs. Does that worry you that there's a bubble that's meant to be burst, or are we just riding the wave at the moment?
Well, I think we're riding a wave. When you're looking at Japan, it'll be punching through 50,000 soon. As far as the Nikkei, you've got the Dow, and you've only got to look and see what happens as far as the Nasdaq. It's, what is it, 22,600, and you've got an S&P approaching that 6,680 sort of number. So I think the overall run up to Christmas is going to be very strong. I want to see earnings, and that momentum is just don't stand in the road of it. It'll run you over, Juliet.
Indeed. And what are you looking at when we focus in on US-China trade tension? Yuan option traders sort of bracing for this to last into 2026. But what are some of the technicals or assets you're looking at?
Oh, well, naturally, as far as, rare earths and the storyline from President Trump and Scott Bessent, I want to see what's going on as far as tariffs, it seems to change every couple of days, and we all understand what happened last Friday with President Trump, and now Scott Bessent's come out and probably trying to make it a little bit more, give it a little bit more taste, because at the moment it was quite bitter as far as China was concerned. So he's sugaring it up a little bit, and I just want to see what happens over the next maybe a week, and whether there's going to be some sort of resolution between the two parties, or are we going to see those large tariffs introduced on the 1st of November? Everyone's just waiting to see, Juliet, because it's a lot of uncertainty across the whole fabric of the US versus China storyline.